Hello quilting friends, I'm Linda Nitzen with Sizzix, here to show you the Kaleidoscope die and quilts. So we have several examples on the table today, and I'd like to show you the first one is what we're going to be piecing today, and that's different pieces, and it's super fun the way you get these secondary patterns as they come together. So you get this surrounding jewel, the lights and the darks that play together. It's rich and awesome. I'm going to show you two other examples too. The pillow here is with Hoffman Batiks, and we just randomly cut out 10-inch squares. We randomly sewed them together, not placing any two colors next to each other, and we achieved this for the pillow. And again, one block is right here, so this is 4 blocks sewn together. Now if you predict your fabrics in advance, you can do the example here to my right, where you have several different blocks, where you have the orange combination, you have the lime and yellow combination, or the brown, red, and lime combination. And between those, it makes this wonderful extended pattern that multitudes out for the rest of the quilt. So today I'm going to show you how to do something similar to that, only planned with just 4 blocks, and we're going to start by cutting. So for each Kaleidoscope full block, we need 8 of the larger triangle and 4 of the side half triangles. So I'm going to take 2 pieces of 10-inch squares. We're going to fold them in half again. That would be my 8 layers. And I'm going to lay them on top of the die. Okay, I'm happy with that. So your Fabby, your Big Kick, or your Big Shot machines, cutting pad on the top, cutting pad for the bottom, couple of quick turns with the handle, and we are going to get 8 of our first color. Slide the cutting pad off, and we have our pieces here. We need a dark blue, but we'll come back to that dark blue. Fold it into thirds on the 10-inch square. Fold it over again, and you're going to end up with 6. If you fold it a third time, we'll get more than what we need, and that's just great. Okay, cutting pad on top, cutting pad at the bottom. A couple of quick turns with the handle. And here are our side corner triangles. So here's our stack of triangles. These are the larger shapes, and they fit right on top for proof. And then we would use the darker for the corners. All right, let's push these aside and let's start actually sewing this block together. So you just want to take right sides together. Now on these Batiks, you don't really see a right and a wrong side, and that's the beauty of them. Now because I'm sewing on a triangle to start, I'm going to use a starter piece of fabric so that my machine doesn't try and eat the corner. There we go, and a scant 1/4 of an inch all the way down to the end. And I'm just going to sew these in pairs, and then we'll sew the whole block together. So I always put them in the same order. So if I pick them up from the right and sew the one from the right onto the left, I just continue doing that so that they don't get out of order all the way around. All right, we're going to separate these, and then we're going to sew them in pairs again. And let's lay them back out again to make sure that we didn't take anything out the wrong way. Okay, am I in good shape here? All right, I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and fold these right sides together. And I put a pin down here at the bottom because I want to nest those 2 seams as I get to the bottom. So I'm just going to put a pin right here. So that keeps those together. And then I'm going to sew my scant 1/4 of an inch again, just like I've been doing. Use my starter fabric. And then we're going to take the next pair and we're going to do the same thing. So line them up. Make sure that those seams do not overlap, but you want them to nest. And then again, you scant 1/4 of an inch. You can just fit those right in next to the last one. And before I get ready to sew those back, I just want to make sure that they're sewn in the proper way. So if I fit this over, I've got that half that looks right and this half that looks right. Now I'm pleased with that. I want to make sure that I don't mix up any of them. And then I take the two together, and you've got to go around that seam. Again, nestle it in there. You can feel it with your fingers to just make sure that that seam locks into place, and I drop another pin in. Now my seam on the back side is flat also, and my seam on the front side is flat. I haven't done anything special to it. I've just let them lay where they are. We'll press this when we're finished sewing this last seam together. And then I line up my edges again. Now the trick on this is you want to make sure that when you come through to sew it, and I'm going to show you with a pin, that your needle comes right across this part here when you sew across. If you're too far over, you're going to cut off that intersection here in the middle. If you're too far under, you'll have a gap, and neither one looks right. So just be nice and careful and make sure that you sew right over that intersection. There will be some bulk in that intersection in the middle. Just go nice and steady over it. And I'm going to get close, and then I'm going to remove that pin. Just remember that everything else needs to line up too. Nice and slow, nice and steady over that big lump. And then continue on. And when I open that up, my seams come together perfectly. So what I want to do on the back side is give that seam a little snip right here. They came together. And then press that flat. So this is the only seam that's going to come open. The rest of your seams will lay flat from one side or the other. So get your ironing board out, give that a little press. So now we want to make sure that we're all in the right place here. So now all we have to do is sew on our corner pieces. Easy enough. Roll them right sides together. And your corners are going to line up to the outside. And you can put a couple of pins in them if you want to, but they're so small, it's just as easy for me just to take it to the machine and give it a couple of quick stitches. So just sew your scant 1/4 of an inch again all the way across. And on this particular block, the way we have it laid out, we're just going around each one of the pink blocks is going to get a dark turquoise in the corner. And then when we open this up, we're going to press that seam towards the outside edge. We're just going to finger press it here, but get your iron out, give it a nice hot press. There's my block. So you end up with the circular pattern as well as the starburst that comes from the center. So here we have it, one die, several different layouts and looks. Happy quilting!